Arizona's #1 online radio podcast about all things medical cannabis. Your host, Belle,
and the Cannabis Kid. Our show features news, interviews, all the latest information about anything and everything medical cannabis related to Tucson, Arizona, and the world at large.
We'd love to hear from you. Please give us a call live at 646-915-8421. You can like us on Facebook, follow us on all social media, or email thtucson@gmail.com.
We'd like to thank the Weedsday Wednesday and Studio C, along with our many sponsors for hosting our show every week. With the lowest price certifications in town, you'll find hemp products, accessories, and all things related to medical cannabis education.
Please attend the Weedsday Center at 4826 East Belle Boulevard or online at tumbleweedshealthcenter.com. And remember,
Be smart
be safe
and educate.
All right, welcome to Weedsday Wednesday, everybody. Woo! How's it going out there in Weed World? Weed World, Weed World. Yeah, you guys are a little slow out there. Oh, I can't even believe it. August 19th. That's crazy. It's August, you guys. Like fall weather. But they're not even, there's no fall anymore right now. They're just skipping right to Halloween. They're calling it Summerween. I love it. Because, August is the only month that there's no actual holiday. So they had to do something to bring in some revenue. Seriously, that's exactly what happened. That's why Summerween is happening right now. They figured we can make money off these suckers. And they do. And I'm one of the suckers. Heck yeah. Woo. All right, welcome to Weedsday Wednesday. I know you're all wondering how many days until Christmas. 100 and let's see, what do we got here? Oh, how many days? 128 days until Christmas, 129 days until it's over. But the real excitement is 73 days until Halloween. Woo! Oh, we love it. It's coming. It's in the air. Oh, I love Halloween. I can't wait. 73 days until Halloween. It doesn't get any better than that. Yay for Halloween. And yay for Tumbleweeds Health Center in the Good Leaf at 6224 East Speedway Boulevard. Come on down. Come get certified. Come get some groovy hemp and CBD products. We've got some great things in there right now. The drinks are big. We've got really chilled out on CBG and CBD drinks. CBG seems to be the new big thing. Maybe we'll look at that and find out what's going on in that cannabinoid, because that one seems to make everybody pain-free and happy. We love it. We love pain-free and happy. We'll take it over anything. Woo! All right. Well, get on down, 6224 East Speedway Boulevard. We are now over by Bookman's. It's been a while, but we're over by Bookman's. We literally share the same wall with Bookman's. And, oh, sorry, I'm really distracted by it. I just got annihilated by some mosquitoes. God. And I'm highly sensitive to these suckers, and they just blow up and burn. And so I'm just putting a little ointment on. I don't think it helps. It's psychological, I think, more than anything. But come on down, get certified. And you don't even have to come down anymore. You can just do a telemedicine appointment. And all you have to do is click on the telemedicine section, or even on the certification section, there's a section for telemedicine. Fill out the form. We'll get in contact with you about setting your appointment up, and then we will send you a link to your meeting, and you're all good to go. It's done very simply, all done via the internet, just like you do everything else now. So that's an easy peasy thing. If you want to know what conditions qualify you for a medical cannabis card, I'm about to tell you. PTSD, the one you have to have records in the last 12 months for. That's not our rule. That is a state rule. So that has to be done. The next one is cancer, glaucoma, AIDS. You'll probably already have records for this. So just bring in what you have, because like with the next one, chronic pain, even if they're older, they show your pain is chronic. Have 60 days, 2 months worth of pain to consider it chronic. So, yeah, any amount of time with pain is chronic for me, but the state wants 2 months history of chronic pain. You can have seen a chiropractor, a medicine man, a shaman. We just need medical records. We need some records that say this is what you have from your doctor. So chronic pain covers so many things. Migraines, arthritis, back problems, knee problems, whatever problems you got going on, as long as it's 2 months worth of chronicness. Severe nausea, seizures, all seizures, including epilepsy, HIV, Hep C, ALS, Crohn's disease, agitation of Alzheimer's, dementia, and everything in between, and cachexia, wasting syndrome, severe and persistent muscle spasms, including multiple sclerosis. That would probably include Parkinson's, tremors, things like that. If you didn't hear your condition on the list, don't worry, because if you're getting treated for something, let's say like IBS or something, and it's causing nausea, well, that's on the list. So things that cause things that are on the list, you can get your card for. Woo-woo. All right, hang on 1 second here. My apologies. I got to take us back, and then I got to do this.
If you suffer from one of these medical conditions and have been diagnosed by an Arizona licensed physician, medical cannabis may help relieve your symptoms. Tumbleweeds Health Center is Arizona's premier cannabis certification, health, and education center. Our primary focus is to help the patients of Arizona obtain their medical marijuana card and educate everyone about medical cannabis. With current medical records, approval is a simple process. Contact Tumbleweeds Health Center to see if you qualify for your Arizona medical marijuana card.
Are chronic conditions holding you back from a happy, healthy life? Get on the right track with Tumbleweeds Health Center. Our CBD products are formulated to fit your health lifestyle.
I would definitely say that CBD has changed my life. I mean, I don't worry about my dog anymore, and I don't worry about sleeping anymore.
Tumbleweeds Health Center, voted #1 health center in Tucson, has created a proprietary number of CBD blends, each designed to promote health and well-being. Let Tumbleweeds Health Center show you how CBD products might help you improve your life the natural way.
Yeah, give us a call, 520-838-4430. You can email all your records and questions to thctucson@gmail.com. And like I said, we offer telemedicine now, so you don't even have to leave the comfort of your own cozy couch. And we will see ya. Battling mosquitoes. I think I got the other one. I don't know. All right, so let's see what is going on in the world of weeds. Cannabis events. It says join 106,000 Arizonans. To subscribe. Nah, this is from azmarijuana.com. There are no events. Let's see if there's any news worthy. The 10 best-selling cannabis edibles, we know about those because we eat them. Sonoran Roots named 1,886 on the 2026 list. Limited edition cannabis gummy just launched in Arizona. Sonoran Roots is giving a free pre-roll or deligram. Oh my God. I hate these terms. Oh, I hate these terms. Deligram, deli weed. Guys, why do the youngsters feel the need to make up ridiculous names for marijuana and for this whole dispensary system? Bud tender, deli weed. Come on, guys, just give us our weed. We don't care what you call the people that are selling it. Just give it to us and quit, for the love of God. Quit keeping all the weed before you sell it. Oh, I can't wait till my stuff is done. It's already got crystals all over. I seriously, the actual literal weed that I've purchased from dispensaries. I was thinking about this the other day. I'm like, I can't tell a difference for one in the strains. I have 4 different strains. Don't really tell a difference. And 2, they have literally knocked all the THC off of these strains. They are naked nugs. And not only that, they are bottom of the plant, bottom of the bush, what we call pot poops. They're pot poops. These things are so little. They're like the size of their pinky fingernail, not your pinky fingernail. That's how tiny they are. And they throw those in the jar and they're like, here you go. And you're like, wait, what? Where are the big buds you guys are all raving about with all these, killer grows, 40,000 square foot warehouses? Well, where are they? Where's the big, beautiful bud that is full of trichomes? Yeah, where is it? You stole them. You stole our trichomes. Lame. All right. So America hits milestone. We already read that one. Okay, so I don't really want to read about all the edible strains that are out there because we already know about them. Okay, so let's go to the news. Matthew McConaughey. This is just funny. Matthew McConaughey got so high, missed his own birthday party after playing the same song 24 times. Okay, let's see what he has to say about that just for fun. Way better than knowing the strains. And why? Oh, maybe it was a Janet Jackson song. This is going to be funny. Matthew McConaughey has apparently discovered the outer limit of how many consecutive plays of Janet Jackson's That's the Way Love Goes one man can handle before reevaluating his relationship with weed. For him, that number is 24. In a new Rolling Stone interview about the music that has shaped the soundtrack of his life, McConaughey revisited the unusual story behind why he stopped smoking weed. One particularly strong joint, one parked car, one Janet Jackson song, and an entire birthday party unfolding without the guest of honor. According to the actor, the episode happened around the time the weed he encountered started to change. Quote, it's right around the time weed started turning hydroponic. A lot of y'all don't remember, he said. McConaughey contrasted it with the weed he remembered from earlier years when he as he put it, quote, you could roll a joint, smoke it, pass around, everyone giggles, gets some munchies, and maybe runs off and tries to get some snuggle time. Quote, then he said, things started hitting differently. Well, then it started getting the hydroponic stuff. Like one toke, people, the subplots could become unmanageable and people would implode, McConaughey recalled. And on this particular night, he was heading to his own birthday party. His friends had taken over a club for the occasion. Before McConaughey headed to the celebration, a friend handed him a joint and encouraged him to try it. McConaughey drove to the venue, parked outside, and took a hit. It was not like the weed I'd smoked before, he said. He had successfully completed the difficult part of the journey, arriving at his own birthday party. Getting out of the car proved considerably harder. Quote, I listened to Janet Jackson's That's the Way Love Goes 24 times in a row, McConaughey said. And when I finally got out of the car to go into my birthday party, no one was in there because it was over. Everyone had left. They had all left because I sat in the freaking car listening to That's the Way Love Goes 24 times because I thought at that time that was more important than going into my own birthday party. Sounds lace to me. It's difficult to imagine a cleaner review of an altered state than realizing sometime after replaying number 24 that Janet Jackson has somehow outranked your own birthday. McConaughey's verdict was equally straightforward. Loved the song, didn't love the weed. Well, no. Dedicated students of the Matthew McConaughey Extended Universe may remember hearing this story before. When McConaughey appeared on Jimmy Kimmel Live in December of 2025, he told essentially the same story, but with one notable difference. In that version, he said he had listened to That's the Way Love Goes 34 times rather than 24. He also included another detail in the earlier telling. He remembered sitting in his truck crying because the song felt so beautiful to him in the moment. Yeah. Want to know what my thought was? Why in the world didn't anyone see him in his own car and get him? Dude, what are you doing? Oh, man. Uh-oh. Okay, here we go. A plane dropped 300 feet. The pilot tested positive for weed. Almost nobody mentioned he wasn't the one flying it. Headlines around the world tied a captain's positive marijuana test to a terrifying midair plunge. He wasn't the one flying. The first officer was at the controls. And Airbus says the aircraft registered pressure losses across all three hydraulic systems and that key controls stopped responding for 4 seconds. Every one of those headlines was technically true. Together, they told a story the investigation hasn't established. You've probably seen some version of this story by now. An Air India jet flying from Phuket to Delhi dropped nearly 300 feet in cruise, injured 24 people, and its captain later tested positive for marijuana. Both of those things are true. Here's what a great many of those headlines left out. The captain who tested was not the pilot flying the airplane when it happened. According to his own account to investigators, first reported by Hindustan Times, he was not in his seat. He was standing behind the first officer, and when the aircraft moved, it threw him to the cockpit floor. The first officer was the one at controls. Air India flight AI2379 on Airbus A320neo registered VTEXO left Phuket on the morning of August 4th with 137 passengers and 8 crew members. At around 9:30 a.m. India time, cruising near 36,160 feet over the Odisha coast, the aircraft lost roughly 300 feet of altitude. 20 passengers and 4 cabin crew members were hurt. The plane stayed airborne for about another hour and a half and landed safely in Delhi. Air India first described the event as turbulence. It later dropped that description and called it a sudden loss of altitude. Indian authorities classified it as a serious incident, and the Aircraft Incident and Investigation Bureau is investigating with technical help from Airbus and France's BEA. The aircraft's centralized fault display system log, reviewed by Hindustan Times, recorded 9 warning messages inside a single minute around 9:32 a.m. Low pressure in the green, blue, and yellow hydraulic systems, low reservoir levels in yellow and blue, an autopilot disconnect, an elevator flight control fault. An A320 has 3 independent hydraulic systems for a reason. They are what move the surface that point the airplane up, down, and sideways. All 3 registered pressure loss in quick succession. The Airbus analysis, described by the Tribune, puts it down to the second. One system failed just before 9:32:44 a.m. The other 2 failed at 9:32:45, and all 3 came back on 7 seconds later. Holy crap, that's scary. The first officer is flying the aircraft. Oh, let's see. That's a timeline. Oh, all right. The first officer is flying the aircraft. The captain, acting as pilot monitoring, is standing behind the first officer's seat after a trip to the washroom, discussing the air condition pattern. 9:32:44, one hydraulic system fails. A second later, the other 2 go. 9 warnings hit in under a minute. The autopilot disconnects. The aircraft pitches forward for roughly 4 seconds per Airbus. The elevators and ailerons are unusable. The first officer applies full nose down input. Airbus says there is no direct response from the flight control surfaces. 7 seconds after the first failure, all 3 systems are back. The aircraft drops roughly 300 feet. The captain is thrown to the cockpit floor. That sequence comes from Airbus's own preliminary assessment written in response to a request from Air India and reviewed by routers. The manufacturer has not determined why the hydraulic pressure dropped. It has asked the airline to test the hydraulic systems and the sensors that monitor them, to pull some of those sensors for inspection, and to check the aircraft for structural damage. Because the jet took forces beyond its specified limits during the drop, it also wants maintenance records recovering the previous month and fuller accounts from both pilots. Routers also reported plainly that no link has been established between the captain's test result and the loss of altitude. Well, because he, again, wasn't the one flying. He was in the bathroom. Everything the captain is facing. Let's find that out. Oh, boy. Hang on. I'm just getting a little readjusted here, situated a little bit. Hopefully it doesn't make too much noise. I have no idea. I have no idea if this is actually even recording. Says we're live. All right, let's see. Is anybody out there in Chatville? No? Okay. Well, howdy. Boy, howdy if you are. Yep. Okay. All right, back to high times. All right, everything the captain's facing, none of the above is a defense of Sudeep Vashishta. And this piece is not going to pretend otherwise. A post-flight screening returned a non-negative result. A confirmatory test came back positive for cannabis. Investigators questioned him for over an hour. He told them he had been struggling to sleep for some time because of personal circumstances, that he had not slept well during the Phuket layover, and that he was taking medication prescribed by his family doctor for the problem. He also told them he had slept for 30 to 35 minutes during the flight itself. Both pilots have been pulled from the flying roster pending the outcome of the investigation. Air India began mandatory psychoactive substance screening for its entire pilot workforce on August 13th across the mainline carrier and Air India Express, going further than what the Directorate General of Civil Aviation currently requires. Whether a captain running on very little sleep, taking medication whose disclosure status remains unclear, and with cannabis metabolites in his system should have been in the cockpit at all is a serious question. Investigators have every reason to ask. Air India has every reason to answer. It's a different question from what made the airplane drop. That's true. Look at how the story got packaged. A plane dropped 300 feet. A pilot tested positive for marijuana. Put the two sentences next to each other in that order under the headline, and the reader does the rest of the work without being asked. Nobody had to write the word cause. The arrangement said it. Imagine a car crashes and the owner is drunk. Now imagine he was in the passenger seat and his sober brother was driving. Car owner was drunk when vehicle crashed. It is a true sentence. It is also a sentence that leaves a reader believing something the reporter knows is not the case. There is a thing we're saying, and it is the point of cannabis consumers have been making for decades in every context, from job applications to custody hearings. A positive result for cannabis metabolites establishes exposure. It does not establish when. It does not establish impairment. And it's a real limitation of the test, and it is well understood. But that argument is not even necessary here, which is what makes that case unusual. You do not have to litigate toxicology. You only have to ask who was holding the controls. What we know, the captain tested positive for cannabis on a confirmatory test. The first officer was the pilot flying. The captain was pilot monitoring and out of his seat. All three hydraulic systems registered pressure losses in quick succession. For roughly 4 seconds, the elevators and ailerons did not respond. What we don't know? Why the hydraulic pressure dropped. Airbus has not determined this. Whether the captain's test result had any bearing on the incident, no link has been established. And when he consumed, or whether he was impaired at any point during the flight, or whether a captain in his seat would have changed the outcome. Maybe Sudeep Vashishta had no business anywhere near that cockpit on August 4th. Investigators will decide that, and they should. Maybe his test result will end up mattering to the final report. But if a positive marijuana test was important enough to put in the headline, who was actually flying the airplane was important enough to mention. And that's true. I mean, and these are all things, my mom used to say when we were growing up, believe none of what you read and half of what you see. Well, now you can't even believe any of what you see. It's literally everything. Yeah, I know it. Everything could be fake. Everything besides what you're doing in the very moment. And if you're on too many drugs, Matthew McConaughey, that might not even be real. Janet Jackson. Well, hey, it's a good song. Can't blame him. Yeah, when I first started smoking weed, it was very psychoactive. Like, and I was 20. I was darn near 21 when I first started smoking weed. And I remember the first time where I was sitting in the car with my buddies. And then we were sitting in the Lions parking lot. Lions for us was like a Denny's. And it was awesome. They had the best flipping milkshakes. Oh, yeah. Oh my God. Their milkshakes were so good. Holy crap. Those and the little bowling alley when I was like 5. Pinole Valley Lanes. I think you're still there. Let's give it up for Pinole Valley Lanes. Whee! Anyway, we went into Lions and I was like, I don't feel this at all. And the next thing you know, I'm ordering like all the stuff off the menu, and then I'm eating everybody else's food, and I'm making silly comments to people as they walk by, and I'm just giggling and having a good old time. But it was very psychoactive. I remember one time we went bowling. This is when I was first getting high. And I remember going into the bathroom just laughing and laughing. And I didn't know. I was up at the counter and a lady walked in, and I didn't know whether or not the moment I was experiencing was even real. That's how high I was. Of course, that was probably the second or third time I'd ever smoked weed. Now it's just like when I smoke weed now, I don't get totally baked or anything. Well, actually once in a while. It depends on the strain. But now it's just like, it takes the edge off. It's a nice little inside smile. It's magic. All right. So, well, there you have it. Matthew McConaughey and the plane. There we go. All right. Can THC quiet PTSD nightmares? New research offers clues. Well, you know what else we offer? This.
I'm gonna smoke some weed. I got $20 in my pocket. I'm a hut, looking for a pot shop. This is fucking awesome.
Walk into my house like, what up? I got some good pop. I'm just pumped up, got some herb from the pop shop. Ice in the fridge, it used to be frosty. My friends like, damn, this is dope. That's okay. Rolling in hella high, looking like it's FIFA time. Dominating all my friends as I eat some chili fries. Draped in a snuggie with my girl sitting. Probably should. But shit, it was 99 cents. I'll be blazing and smoking, about to go and get some lunches. Passing up on those Cracker Jacks, Reese's Pieces of where it's. I gotta get me some soda.
Can you hear me?
Remember where I put my keys, yeah, that's what's up. I'ma take your grandpa's ride, Yo, for real, ask your grandma, can I take a 65? The bill cruise into my local public. That's one with the trees, super high. Half rosy, I'm not rosy, and then it's ready, and then I'm hello, my main man, a couple days in this recording, walls on there. What you know about the science of marijuana? What you know about people suffering from glaucoma? They need it, it helps them with their condition. If you don't believe me, then just ask some eye physicians. Think your granddad voted for that guy Richard Nixon is the president who made the plant illegal. But science is now showing that it's medicine for people, and the private sector's fighting to keep all of that illegal. Alcohol and tobacco, pharmaceutical prisons. I'll take those 4 major lobby groups and fight those motherfuckers. They're making money day and night, all those motherfuckers. And bribing Congress out of sight, all those motherfuckers. They'll be like, oh, it's immoral and unhealthy. I'm like, how many people are you making wealth? And the marijuana lobbies are making all kinds of profits, and they don't want you to stop because of all the special interest. I call that getting swindled and pimp shit. I call that getting tricked by the government. That law's hella old, so it's time to update it, regulate it, and then get it under state control. Peak game, look into my political telescope. Think it's gonna stay like this forever? Not hella won't. Not hella won't. Stop being a hypocrite. You used to smoke weed, fool. I'm gonna smoke some weed. Only got $20 in my pocket. I'm looking for a pot shop. This is fucking awesome. This is the war on drugs. It's time to move up. These special interest groups are nothing more than corporate thugs. Let's end the war on greed. The people have agreed. These special interest groups have built these laws for rivalry. I'm gonna steal some weed. Only got $20 in my pocket. I'm a man looking for a pot shop. This is fucking awesome.
Almost got it. Welcome back to Weedsday Wednesday, y'all. Appreciate you being here. We love Pot Shop. Steve Burke, what are you up to? What have you been doing? All right. Let's see here. Oh yeah, I was on High Times, and we were going to read about the possibility of THC quieting PTSD nightmares. New research offers clues. Let's read about it. Let's see about it. It's already getting hot. What is it? Oh, it's 87. That's not bad, but my kitties are already back inside going, oh, it's hot, Grandma. I'm there, Grammy. They've been out for 3 hours already. Now they're just chilling in the house because they own it. Our own minds create and take us into. The problem is that for people with PTSD, nightmares aren't simply occasional bad dreams. They can become an endless loop that is desperately difficult to manage. A way of reliving the traumatic experience reliving that traumatic experience over and over again. Yeah, that is the truth. I've had night terrors since I was little, and you can't. I mean, it's taken years. I don't have them so much anymore, which is freaking fantastic. Since my medical scare, I don't know, maybe it scared my nightmares away, but yeah. This month, a new study published in Nature Medicine found that a marijuana-derived medication greatly reduced nightmares in patients with PTSD. In more than a third of those who received the treatment, after 10 weeks, the nightmares had disappeared altogether. Does that mean that smoking marijuana before bed is a new treatment for PTSD? No, not even close. But the results do provide interesting evidence about something much more specific. The relationship between THC, sleep, dreams, and one of the most persistent manifestations of trauma. What is PTSD and why can it cause nightmares? Post-traumatic stress disorder can appear after going through a traumatic experience. And that's military plus just life's traumatic experience, because you don't have to be in the military to have had a traumatic experience that produces PTSD. It's much more than simply remembering the terrible thing that happened. It continues to react to the memory as though the danger is still present, like it's still actually happening. Possible symptoms include intrusive memories or flashbacks, avoidance of situations associated with the trauma, changes in mood, hypervigilance, sleep problems, and yes, reoccurring nightmares. Recurring, not recurring nightmares. The latter are especially common in PTSD and can be part of what are known as re-experiencing symptoms. During sleep, elements, emotions, or sensations connected to what happened can resurface. On top of that, a pretty cruel cycle can develop. A person has nightmares, starts becoming afraid of falling asleep, sleeps worse, and then the sleep disruption can in turn make the condition even more difficult to manage. That's why, even though nightmares are one of the symptoms of PTSD, treating them can be a clinical goal in itself. And that's where the study comes in. What did the researchers do? A team led by researchers at Charité University in Berlin in Germany conducted a randomized, double-blind, placebo-controlled clinical trial involving 171 adults with PTSD and trauma-related nightmares. In other words, neither the participants nor the people evaluating the results knew who was receiving the actual medication and who was receiving a placebo. For 10 weeks, 87 participants received dronabinol and 84% received a placebo. Overall, 79.3% of the sample were women. The medication was administered once a day before bedtime in doses that could be individually adjusted between 2.5 and 15 milligrams. It's kind of a big difference. So what is dronabinol? Here comes the first important clarification, although it is tempting to summarize the study by saying that patients were treated with, quote, medical cannabis, quote. The researchers did not give them cannabis flower or study what happens when someone smokes a joint before bed. Dronabinol is a pharmaceutical preparation of delta-9 tetrahydrocannabinol, THC, a hugely important cannabis compound. In this case, the researchers used a standardized oral solution. The distinction is crucial to understand because a controlled pharmaceutical dose of a specific molecule is not equivalent to consuming cannabis. A plant that can contain highly variable concentrations of THC, CBD, and many other compounds. What did they discover about marijuana's effect on nightmares? The researchers measured participants' nightmare burden, taking both frequency and intensity into account. After 10 weeks, the score used to measure it had decreased by an average of 3.7 points in the group that received dronabinol and 2.2 points in the placebo group. In other words, the placebo also produced an improvement, something common in clinical trials, but the reduction was significantly greater among those who received dronabinol. And some of the individual results are even more striking. More than a third of patients treated with dronabinol stopped experiencing nightmares, while another 21% saw their nightmare burden decrease by at least 50%. In addition, about 5 of 6 participants in the treatment group felt that their health had remarkably improved. But here it is worth making something equally important clear. No, THC does not cure PTSD. The treatment worked on one specific symptom, nightmares. The researchers also evaluated overall PTSD severity and associated depression symptoms, but they did not find conclusive evidence that dronabinol produced a significant improvement in those areas compared with placebo. Put another way, someone could have far fewer nightmares and still continue experiencing other symptoms of the disorder. That is why it would be incorrect to conclude from the study that THC is a proven treatment for PTSD. What the researchers found is something narrower, though no less interesting. Administering pharmaceutical THC before bedtime significantly reduced trauma-related nightmares in this group of patients. The next question is inevitable. Why? And to try to answer it, we have to get quiet, literally, inside our dreams. What is REM sleep? Well, while we sleep, our brains do not remain in the same state all night. We repeatedly move through different stages of sleep, which are usually divided into non-REM sleep and REM sleep. REM stands for rapid eye movement. During this stage, brain activity changes considerably, and many of the most vivid, complex, and emotionally charged dreams that we can later remember happen. REM is also connected with memory and emotional regulation, which is why scientists have been deeply interested for years in understanding what happens during this stage of sleep in people who have gone through traumatic experiences. But the issue is more complicated than saying nightmares equal REM. Trauma-related nightmares can also occur during other stages of sleep, and science is still debating exactly which sleep disturbances are characteristics of PTSD. But REM appears to be an important piece of that puzzle. And it turns out cannabis has a hand in it too. Our bodies produce their own cannabinoid molecules. These are endocannabinoids, and together with their receptors and the enzymes that regulate them, they make up what is known as the endocannabinoid system. This system is involved in numerous physiological processes, including the stress response, appetite, pain, memory, emotions, and the sleep wake cycle. THC can interact with this system because its structure allows it to activate cannabinoid receptors, particularly CB1, which are widely distributed throughout the brain. The available evidence indicates that THC administered acutely can reduce or delay REM sleep. This is precisely why there is a fairly well-known experience among regular cannabis users. Some people feel that when they consume regularly, they dream less or, more precisely, remember fewer of their dreams. It doesn't necessarily mean the brain has completely stopped dreaming, but THC can alter normal sleep architecture and reduce the amount of time spent in REM, which could decrease certain dream experiences or the ability to remember them later. The German researchers believe that something related to the phenomenon could help explain what they observed in patients with PTSD. According to Stefan Ropf, one of the researchers leading the study, there is evidence during REM sleep THC can reduce dream activity and, in this way, possibly alleviate some nocturnal stress responses. But as with any scientific research, we have to tread carefully. The trial showed that the marijuana-based medication reduced nightmares. It did not demonstrate through measurements of each participant's brain that reduced REM sleep was the cause of that improvement. It is a biologically plausible hypothesis, not yet the end of the story. And why do some people dream so much when they stop using marijuana? Interestingly, the relationship also works in the opposite direction. People who frequently consume THC often report particularly intense or vivid dreams when they stop using it. The phenomenon is known as REM rebound. If THC has reduced or altered this stage of sleep for a period of time, removing the substances can temporarily produce an increase in REM, and with it, much more intense, memorable, and in some cases, unpleasant dreams can return. This is especially interesting when we talk about nightmares because it shows that altering dreams through THC does not necessarily amount to improving sleep overall. In fact, the evidence on cannabis and rest is far more ambiguous than its reputation as a sleep aid might suggest. The effects can change depending on dose, frequency of use, and tolerance, and frequent use can alter sleep architecture. I love they call it sleep architecture. Stopping can also lead to insomnia, disrupted sleep, and intense dreams. So once again, the study does not mean that using marijuana before bed is a solution for nightmares. Still, alongside previous research that it had already explored cannabinoids such as nabilone for treatment resisting nightmares in people with PTSD, this new finding provides a much broader view of this difficult treatment landscape. They like architecture and landscape. All right. Well, I don't know. What say you? So, depending on, like, I take a little bit of RSO at night, and that's I just swallow it. I have a little gummy. I'll eat that, but this little tablet is kind of nasty. It's a sleep aid. It's got THC, CBN, and uh, I mean, those are the focused cannabinoids. So speaking of those, we were talking about CBG earlier. And yeah, so just sorry, squirrel, just to get back to this real quick. Here's my disclaimer. And this is what we say to everybody that comes in our shop too. This may or may not be for you. It may or may not work for you. It may work differently for you than it's going to work differently for me. Silver Sister can take 2 or 3 of the gummies that we have that are mushrooms. It's Amanita muscaria. Bless you. I know it. I can't even know myself. But seriously, I took 2 because she's like, I can take 3. I'm like, Jesus, no, you can't. I took 2. And I couldn't believe she could take 3 because she's very, 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 very sensitive. She can't even smoke weed anymore. So I took 2. And for 6 straight hours, I laughed and laughed and laughed. I was watching the playoffs. And every tackle just made me laugh and laugh and laugh. And then it took me like an hour and a half to figure out how to order DoorDash. And once I finally figured it out, then I got paranoid because then someone was going to come to the house and bring me something. I was like, no, but I think I just told him to drop it off. That's old school paranoia. No one cares anymore. That's the whole thing. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. It's so funny. Kids now, they really don't care. They're just like, whatever, you smoke weed, whatever. So do I. And they've probably been smoking it longer than me. Not sure how I feel about that, but I waited a while just because I didn't know what it did. And, I had a mom that did a little too much of things. And so I was like, do I want to go down that path? But weed's very different. It's been really great for me, actually. But let's look up these different cannabinoids that are so popular these days. So if we type in, let's see. Okay, so there's 2 big ones. We'll go CBN and then cannabinoid. There we go. See what it is. This is the AI overview. Let's see if we like what the AI overview says. CBN is a mildly psychoactive cannabinoid formed when THC ages and breaks down under heat and light, often marketed as the sleepy cannabinoid. It is widely used to promote relaxation and sleep, though scientists are still studying its exact effects on the human body. I didn't know that, well, that's what they say, mildly psychoactive. Origins, CBN is a breakdown product of delta-9 THC. As cannabis ages, oxygen and light convert THC into CBN. Okay, that's very interesting. Okay, that's just like I read in a banana, there's basically like, 3 stages of ripeness, when it's a little bit, green, and then it gets yellow, and then it gets brown. During those 3 stages, you get different vitamins and different effects of that banana. And that's pretty cool to me. So I completely think this is really awesome. All right. Potency. It's about 25% as potent as THC. It does not cause a strong high, but high doses can cause mild mind-altering effects. Wow. Looks like we're going to be doing a lot of CBN tonight. Just kidding. I do a little. It knocks me out. And that's one thing, like I said earlier with the story about PTSD, I have had night terrors since I was very little. I mean, I can remember them now. I could draw them out. I could make a movie. They're horrible. They're horrifying. A lot of fear. A lot of fear in them. And CBN just, again, what's with the playoffs? I remember we got some CBN samples in, and I don't know if it was the Bills. I don't know. It was somebody I wanted to see. And I took a CBN thing, gummy. I think it was a gummy. And like 3 minutes before the game was over, I just crashed on the couch, and I woke up like hours later. I was like, no, I did it again. I missed the end of the game. I do it with TV shows, movies, podcasts, whatever. You just put it on, and you're like, the next thing you know, you're so relaxed. CBN really knocks me out. So let's see. That's interesting in how it's made. It binds weakly to the CB1 receptor and CB2 receptors. Potential benefits: sleep support. Many people take CBN for rest and insomnia. Early studies hint it may help reduce nighttime waking, and that is actually something I am hearing from a lot of people that come in. A lot of older people especially come in and they say, I can't sleep through the night. I'll go to bed, and then a couple hours later I wake up, and then I'm up, and then that's it, and then I can't sleep. And they say this keeps them asleep, which is really cool. Early tests show it may help ease joint and muscle soreness. It has properties that may lower inflammation and muscle spasms. Let's see. CBD versus CBN. So we don't want to do that right now. So CBN. So there's CBN. So we have a lot of great CBN products at the Good Leafs and Tumbleweeds. Come on down to 6224 East Speedway Boulevard. Come get certified. Come get some CBD, some CBN. Now let's talk about some CBG. Let's see what AI says about CBG. Why are you doing AI? Because it's the first thing that pops up on Google. And it's not so, it seems pretty accurate. Cannabigerol is a non-intoxicating cannabinoid found in the cannabis plant, often called the mother of all cannabinoids. Well, let me tell you what, we are all just loving CBG at the Good Leaf. CBG for the Good Leaf. Woo-hoo. Its acidic precursor CBGA breaks down during the plant's growth to form major compounds like THC, CBD, CBC. CBG does not cause a high and is researched for wellness benefits. It does not alter your state of mind or cause euphoria. Derived from CBGA in young cannabis and hemp plants. Mature plants scarcely contain less than 1% CBG, making pure extracts rare and often pricier. Okay. Potential benefits and uses: anxiety and stress. Clinical studies suggest acute doses of CBG may help lower subjective anxiety and stress levels. Heck yeah. Anti-inflammatory, interacts with the body's CB1 and CBD receptors to support relief from inflammation and discomfort. And that's what I thought. It's an antibacterial. Early laboratory studies show promise for fighting bacterial and microbial infections. See, pretty good. See, and this is what I tell everybody. I give everybody a little crash course on the form. So it's basically, these companies either make a full spectrum, which means it has a wee bit of THC in it, 0.3% or less, per our 2018 Farm Bill. Or it's a broad spectrum, which means it's supposed to have 0 THC in it. And then they have individual cannabinoids, which are called isolates, but I don't like to overwhelm people, so I just say, and then there's individuals, and that can be CBD, CBG, CBN, CBC. We have products that have just those isolates in them. So CBG is something people are absolutely loving. Clinical studies suggest acute doses may help lower anxiety and stress levels. Early laboratory studies, show it antibacterial. And this is what they were saying. The forms you can get it: oils, tinctures, capsules, creams, gummies. We do have hemp flower, which is really awesome. We just got in hemp joints. This guy came in, grabbed 3 in a bundle and said, I'll take these. People absolutely love CBG. It just makes you feel good. G for feeling good at the Good Leaf. And tumbleweeds. And dosage. So I don't know. So I always start low because, first of all, you don't want to overwhelm anybody if they've not tried this stuff. So who knows how people are going to react to things, right? So, second, saves you money, more bang for your buck right there. So I always, go lower with 5 to 10 milligrams to start. Some people say you should go higher with the cannabinoids. I don't know. I think it's individual. So I put dosage in, and it came up all individual stuff. All right, let's go for the next cannabinoid. Looks like we're getting short on time here too. CBC, a non-intoxicating cannabinoid. It does not get you high. Instead, it interacts with the body's nervous and immune system to help boost mood, ease discomfort, support general wellness through the entourage effect. How it works? It shares the same plant root CBGA as THC and CBD. Binds poorly to brain receptors, meaning no psychoactive high. Okay. Targets specific TRPV1 and TRPA1 sensory nerve receptors tied to pain and inflammation. Slows down how fast your body breaks down anandamide, the bliss molecule. The potential benefits: pain and swelling relief. It calms physical discomfort, helps extend positive feelings by keeping natural brain chemicals active longer. Wow, and it works together with THC, CBD, and plant oils to make full spectrum products stronger. So there you have it. That does a whole lot. And this is why I personally, when someone comes in and they say, they just want to take the edge off and they just want to chill out and they just want to calm down, I always lead them over to our relaxed berries that we have. They're full spectrum. And I say, you're going to get a tiny little bit, like 0.3% or less of THC. So, I think it's the synergy of the entire plant working together that makes everything work so well. However, some people want to focus on different cannabinoids. That is totally up to them. We are loving the CBG right now. It really is a happy maker. Oh, marijuana. Yeah, we don't care what you call it. You can just use it. It's good for you. And sadly to say, folks, that is the end of our show. All right. Well, thank you for tuning in to Weedsday Wednesday. We love being here. We love reading about news and educating you all. I always educate myself on the show as well, which is always a good thing. And remember, as always, be smart, be safe, and educate. Happy Weedsday, everybody. Come on down and tumbleweeds. Woo, where's that shotgun? Tumbleweeds Health Center in the Good Leaf at 6224 East Speedway Boulevard. Get on down, right next to Bookman's. You can go buy an instrument when you're done. Silver Sister and I always go in and look for the instruments. All right, you stupid skeeter. I'm going to get you. All right, happy Weedsday Wednesday. Go smoke some weed and try and get your mosquitoes high. Maybe they'll leave you alone. Oh, there it is. Got it. Oh, man. Sorry, buddy. Had to electrocute you. Happy Weedsday.